General Manager of the Kamloops Broncos, Dino Bernardo, now joins us. We hang out in a restaurant here in downtown Kamloops on Victoria Street. Dino, the season, just a couple of months away now. How's the planning process?
We're ahead of schedule from where we were last year. Our board has doubled in size, which has been great because it'll take some of the pressure off of my plate. And we had a board meeting last week, which was nice. When I said, "Hey, I need someone to step up and do this," there was 3 or 4 hands that went up instead of 2 or 3 hands trying to walk out of the room, sort of thing. So it was fantastic to see that. So it's really going to help with the planning of our golf tournament and our spring camp coming up soon.
I guess that's a relief, because we should mention that you've been almost single-handedly running this team with a lot of things that you had to do, a lot of things on your plate. So is it a relief now to have 3 or 4 hands going up?
It is. It's like I wasn't doing it by myself. We had a lot of good board members that were here, but it was just when we first started this program, we had 20 board members at meetings on a regular basis, and as the seasons have gone by, and some of the people have gotten a little bit burnt out by it, and they haven't been around, and a lot has fallen on the 4 or 5 of us that have stayed. There's been a lot of work that's fallen onto our laps. So it's nice to see that the board's back up over 10 people and that we're going to be able to move forward. And really, it's going to be good for the players too, because it means that there's going to be a lot more assistance for them than them just having 2 or 3 people that they can lean on for help when they need it.
Where are you in the planning process?
Well, right now we've just started sending out our sponsorship packages for the season. So we've hit up all of our old sponsors. There's a lot of new sponsors that we're approaching this year. We're not on par with some of the other teams in this league for sponsorship, because we're facing an uphill climb with so many different sporting attractions in Kamloops. There's 3 hockey teams. There's the university, which is a big draw for sponsorship dollars. So, but that being said, without the help of our sponsors, we probably wouldn't have been around this long. Last year we had 2 or 3 sponsors that stepped up that really helped our program.
Other than the corporate community, how's the community coming around to Kamloops Bronco football?
You know what? I think it's been tough because we've had losing seasons for the last 6 years. But that being said, I remember our first couple of years, the amount of fans that used to come to games boggled my mind, because we weren't even good. And now I think last season was the first year that I think that a lot of the fans started recognizing that maybe we might not beat Nanaimo, but we're going to be able to hopefully give them a game. And I think we played them better last year, and the score wasn't reflective of how well I thought our team played against them. But the other side is that the unbalanced schedule is really making it worthwhile for fans to want to come out.
You mentioned the schedule. You mentioned going up against some tough teams and maybe not beating the Nanaimos, but showing them a good game. So how's recruiting come along? Because that goes parts and parcel. Well,
the recruiting this season has been fantastic. Head coach Duncan Olthius has done a great job. A lot of the players have been great because they've gone back home to Winnipeg and Saskatchewan and Alberta and tried to find some friends to come out here because they love Kamloops. A lot of the kids that move out here come out here thinking that they're going to be here for 1 or 2 years, and a lot of them have started going to university here, and they've started building a network here, and they don't want to leave because they are having a great time here. But part of that is, hopefully it's going to be even better time if we can start winning on the field. So they recognize that. So they've been asking a lot of local talents from where they're from to come out. And then Duncan, he's been the longest tenured head coach that we've ever had. He's been here for 3 years, so it's kind of built a little bit of continuity within the team, and he's done a great job of actually, getting under those rocks of players where we used to think, well, we're not going to be able to get that kid because our program isn't as strong as the Nanaimos or Kelownas, and his attitude is, well, you got to go after him anyway, and you never know what you might get. And we've started to get some of those kids that maybe we were up against a Kelowna and up against an Nanaimo with, and sometimes those kids are starting to decide, well, maybe it's better to go and play in Kamloops right away instead of waiting on a bench for a year or 2 for one of those other 2 teams.
You mentioned local. What about local football? What about the minor program here in Kamloops? Is it flourishing? Is it on the decline?
The minor program has been doing fantastic. There was a little bit, there was 6 teams, I think, and now I think they're back down to 3 or 4, but I think a lot of that was just, there was a lot of kids that wanted to play, so they split into 2 teams when maybe they should have just been 1 team to be more competitive. So I think that board is, it's a separate board than our board, so they've made a decision to try and be more competitive. But the biggest thing is that they want all the kids to play, and they kind of take that from the fact that they don't want their kids to come out and not like football anymore because they don't get to see the field. So the benefits of that have just started. We're our first kids that have come through the minor system are starting to hit grade 11, grade 12 this season. So coming out of high school in Kamloops, there's 5 or 6 good kids that we're going after from the local high school program, but we see next year being a really good crop of kids that are coming out that we're really going to go after hard this offseason.
Is the league on a level playing field when it comes to recruiting? You look at the Sun, you look at the Rebels, the Rams, the Raiders. They've been able to stretch their arms and out across the country. Is the league on a level playing field?
Well, Is it on a level playing field? No, I don't think it is, because we just don't have the resources that we have. You know, when we're going up against a kid in Kelowna or Nanaimo that has the ability to get money for a scholarship, that Hattie's done great work in Kelowna and Les Weiss has done great work Hattie's done great work in Nanaimo and Les Weiss has done great work in Kelowna and building a scholarship fund where they can go after these kids. You know, it's hard for us because, you know, you're trying to make ends meet on the program. You know, the last few years haven't been good to us, and we've turned a corner with the help of the Kamloops Blazers Sports Foundation, who's donated a lot of money to our program, and also through, you know, gaming grants coming back. But, you know, we were in a bit of a hole the last few years that we were trying to dig ourselves out of, so it was hard to offer a kid scholarship money when you don't know if you're going to have enough money to pay for your bus coming through. So this year is the season that we're trying to turn that around, and we're offering a little bit more in scholarship money to the kids that we think need it to make that decision to come here. But again, you know, like, we have 3 or 4 scholarships, and I know Kelowna and Nanaimo probably have, you know, upwards of 10 or more where they can do it. But I think, you know, as far as, you know, getting our coaches out there and talking to the recruiting field's level on that end, it's just hard to match up with the teams that have the big dollars, right?
All that being said, excited about this year, 2013, just around the corner?
Yeah, you know what, the last couple of years, you know, heading into the season, it was more of a chore. It was more of, you know, we got to get this done, we got to keep the program alive. Whereas heading into this season, you know, I get rejuvenated talking to Duncan because he's always so positive, and he's a great head coach and he's great with the kids. But for me, it's you know, we can kind of see the corner being turned, and that we're finally going to hopefully get there and chase that elusive playoff spot that we've been chasing for the last few years.
Thanks for doing this. Have fun this year.
Thank you.
Dino Bernardo, the president of the Kamloops Broncos. He's getting ready for the 2013 season.